All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're talking about how to break that maddening cycle of overthinking. And we're going to tackle it using a really cool mix of ancient spiritual wisdom and some pretty solid modern science.
So, does this sound familiar to you? Maybe you're just staring at your phone, waiting for a text reply that just isn't coming. Or, your brain is playing that one slightly awkward thing you said in a meeting on a loop. It just will not let it go. If you're sitting there nodding along, I just want you to know this is a totally human thing. It's a mental loop, right? A trap that, let's be honest, pretty much all of us fall into now and then. So, if we're going to break out of this trap, first we've got to understand what it even looks like. What are those common triggers that just send our minds spiraling down that rabbit hole? It's always these little everyday moments, isn't it? These small anxieties that our minds just grab onto and blow up, replaying them over and over until they feel huge. But here's the good news, there are absolutely proven ways to break this cycle. And the very first step, it's a simple but really powerful shift in how you see things, and it's rooted in some very old wisdom. Okay, so this first big shift comes from really truly getting your head around a profound idea that nothing, and I mean nothing, good or bad, lasts forever. Everything is always changing. You know what I love about this? It just reframes everything. It basically says, look, if you only let yourself be happy when it's sunny, you're just setting yourself up for misery every time it rains. The goal isn't to avoid the rain, it's to learn how to deal with both the sun and the storm, knowing deep down that they're both temporary, just like the seasons. And this brings me to this great little Zen story about a farmer. So one day, his son finds this incredible wild horse. The whole village is celebrating, right? What amazing luck. But the farmer, he just stays neutral. He gets it. He understands that we never, ever see the full picture from where we're standing. And sure enough, the very next day, the son gets thrown from the horse and breaks his leg. Badly. So it looked like a good thing yesterday is now a bad thing. The villagers are all full of sympathy, but the farmer's response? It's exactly the same. He just refuses to get emotionally hooked on the immediate outcome. And here is the final twist. A week later, the army comes to town and they force every able bodied young man to join them for a really brutal war. But the farmer's son, well, he's spared because of his broken leg. The bad thing ended up saving him. And that's the whole lesson right there. Our overthinking mind rushes to slap a label on everything good, bad, but we almost never actually know what it'll mean in the long run. Okay, let's move on to another brilliant idea, this one from Buddhist teachings. It completely reframes how we think about tough experiences. It's all about learning the art of dodging the second arrow. I want you to imagine this. Life is going to shoot the first arrow at us. That's just pain. It's a breakup, it's a mistake at work, it's a loss. It happens. You can't avoid it. But the second arrow? That's the one we shoot at ourselves. It's the story we tell ourselves about the pain. I'm such a failure. This always happens to me. I'll never recover. That second arrow, that's suffering. And here's the game-changing part. It is completely optional. And hey, this isn't just some nice spiritual idea. The science totally backs it up. There was this fascinating study back in 2016 that found that people who practiced accepting their negative emotions instead of fighting them or judging them, they experience way less emotional suffering. We're talking almost a 50% reduction. It proves that acceptance isn't about giving up. It's actually a super powerful strategy for being more resilient. So, okay, acceptance is key. But how do you actually do it when you're in the middle of a freak out and your mind is just racing? Try this. It's a really simple, practical method. The second you feel that negative spiral starting, just visualize a huge red stop sign. You can even say the word stop out loud. It's like a circuit breaker for your brain. Then, right away, you shift gears by asking a totally different kind of question, a solution-oriented one, to get your brain working for you instead of against you. All right, so we've talked about some powerful mindset shifts. Now let's get into some real, tangible, physical things you can do to literally pull those spiraling thoughts right out of your head. And it starts with something as simple as a pen and a piece of paper. This was so brilliantly shown in a recent study from Nagoya University. Researchers had people write down their angry thoughts. But here's the thing. It wasn't the writing that mattered. The real magic happened for the group that physically discarded the paper. They shredded it or just crumpled it up and threw it away. Their anger levels dropped like a rock. And the other group, the ones who wrote their thoughts down but kept the paper, their anger barely changed at all.
So, why on earth is this so effective? Well, because you're taking this swirling abstract thought and you're making it a real physical thing that you can actually control. The act of ripping it or trashing it or even burning it, it creates this powerful ritual of closure. You're sending a direct physical message to your brain that says, hey, this is over, we're letting this go now.
Let's build on that with another physical action. We spend so much time thinking our inner world shapes our outer reality. But what if the reverse is just as true and just as powerful? Sometimes a clear physical space is the fastest way to get to a clear mental space. And make no mistake, a cluttered environment is like a massive tax on your brain. All that stuff is constantly fighting for your attention, which creates this cognitive overload. Research shows it can literally raise your cortisol levels. That's your main stress hormone, and it can even mess with your sleep. A messy room isn't just a physical issue. It can actually fuel a messy, anxious mind. Now, look, the very thought of decluttering can feel totally overwhelming, which ironically just leads to more overthinking. So forget about trying to do the whole house at once. Start ridiculously small. I'm talking one drawer, maybe one shelf. Set a timer for just 30 minutes and make it a game. Remember, the goal here is not perfection, it's progress. Creating that physical order really does help your mind feel more orderly too. So let's pull all these ideas together now. Understanding impermanence, dodging that second arrow, taking physical action, all of these tools are about making one fundamental choice. It's the choice to be the proactive architect of your own mind instead of just being a reactive victim to it. The most important thing you can do is shift the kinds of questions you ask yourself. See, overthinking loves to live in the land of, why is this happening to me? But being proactive, that's born from asking, okay, what can I do about this? Or what skill is this situation trying to teach me? And I gotta say, that last question on the slide is my absolute favorite. If I wasn't upset right now, how would I respond? It just cuts right through all the emotional noise and gives you instant clarity. And really, this is the bottom line, isn't it? It's the choice we all have to make every single day. We spend so much energy fighting these battles that only exist inside our own heads, but we do have the power to decide if our mind is going to work for us or against us.